Welcome to Up Sports Podcast, your new go-to pod for sports entertainment, culture, and humor. Today we wrap up Game 3s from the West and Eastern Conference Finals, Magic Johnson, Rob Pelinka, NFL over-unders, and our best bets for the Raptors-Bucks Game 4. I'm Malik and I'm teed up.
Let's get into this Warriors-Blazers Game 3. An incredible game. We were watching this at the bar all together, and it seemed like the Trailblazers were going to run away with this one in the first half. They were up big. The Warriors looked kind of out of it. They had Myers Leonard making big-time threes. It looked like the Blazers had this game on lock and were ready to extend this series. And then that second half Warriors magic, man. The Blazers end up scoring 33 points total in the second half. Just incredible defensive effort by the Warriors, and they take a huge Game 3 win and effectively win the series 110-99. After the game, it came out that Dame is playing through a separated ribs, which to me sounds a little weird because aren't your ribs separated anyway? Doesn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, anyways, Dame coming out with an injury, and it was just pretty interesting how it comes out after the game, not before the game. And you guys know that I'm a big kind of Damian Lillard hater. Went 5 for 18 again. And the series is not over. Like, what do you guys have to say about this game and the series? Because it's done.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it a clean sweep. They might let him win the next game out of like pure kindness because Curry's brothers on the team can't disrespect Seth like that. But I'm gonna call it sweep.
All right, let's talk about this because we haven't really talked about it throughout the other podcasts. We talked about how KD was injured and the Warriors might play better without him, this or that. But let's finally talk about it and sit down and really break it down. Do the Warriors need Kevin Durant?
Yes.
To win the finals, I should say.
Yeah. 100%. Oh, yes. I thought you meant in general.
They won't beat the Bucks.
In general, no, yeah.
They won't beat the Bucks without Kevin Durant. I'm sorry.
I think so too. Yeah.
I think they need Kevin Durant just for Giannis because if they don't have Kevin Durant for Giannis, I really don't know who would do it because Draymond is an elite defender. We saw what he did in that Blazers game. He was dishing the rock incredibly well. He had a triple-double. He was just playing incredibly well, but against a guy like Giannis, you can't really just throw Kevon Looney on and hope for the best. That sounds like a terrible strategy.
You might throw Iggy on him.
Even Iggy. These guys are just too small. Kevin Durant really is the best.
No disrespect.
Kevin Durant just has a good overall game in the paint where he could bring some protection to the rim and just, overall disrupt Giannis's rhythm.
There's a report that Iggy's hurt and he might not even play tonight's game.
I did hear that.
Yeah.
I do think though that he's actually probably okay. They're probably just resting him because I think the Warriors are okay with losing this game. It's a 3-0 series. No, I don't think so.
I wouldn't be surprised.
He's questionable.
Oh, questionable.
But I doubt that it's something serious. I'm sure he's okay. I definitely believe they're just kind of resting him. And look, the Blazers, they seem really defeated. After the game, Damian Lillard was talking about how that the Warriors were double-teaming him even with 30 seconds left in the game. The game was already decided, and they were still double-teaming him. And he was pretty much just saying, these guys wear him down mentally. And look, the Blazers, they seem defeated. You saw the reactions from Enes Kanter, Damian Lillard, TJ McCollum. The series is over. Even if the Blazers win the game just to make it a gentleman's, there's no way they're taking the Game 5. Even if they do take the Game 5, there's no way they're taking Game 6 or 7. This series is finally a wrap. You guys think there's any chance they win tonight?
Nah, I seen Damian. I seen a little Instagram video. You know how they do the previews of the people walking in with their outfits into the back stadium. Damian Lillard was walking in with his outfit. He had his head down. He looked sad. He was like, "Man, yeah, let's just get this over with. I want to go home." It's done for the Blazers.
Yeah, I can say that.
Probably.
Would you guys say that they had a disappointing season, seeing how they finally lost in the Western Conference Finals? They had a good chance of potentially taking down the Warriors, but didn't. Or would you say they had an impressive season?
I would say
I'm going impressive.
Impressive season.
They made it this far.
They made it this far.
And Western Conference Finals can't be a disappointment, especially for a team that some people thought wouldn't even make the playoffs. So,
I definitely say it's impressive because of Nurkic's injury, obviously.
All
things considered, though, they are the 3 seed, and they've always been kind of treading water in the playoffs. They've always been getting to the second round and stuff. I think Enes Kanter, this is finally the series. It was kind of being exposed in the Nugget series, but this is really the series that showed where they really needed Nurkic, and they just didn't have him, and that kind of sucks. But let's get into that Bucks-Raptors Game 3 from last night. Crazy game, went into double overtime. Fun fact, the Raptors led this game by 4 or more with under a minute twice. And that happened in the first OT, and it happened when there was in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. And both times the Bucks just kind of went on a little run and tied the game up to send it into overtime twice, obviously. And all of this happened while Giannis had a terrible night, and Eric Bledsoe had a terrible night, and Chris Middleton had a terrible night. what does this say about the Raptors team?
Judging off last night's game, it was just Kawhi out there, for being honest. Siakam
Siakam's playing pretty good from what I saw.
Nah, when it
He missed
mattered,
the free
he didn't.
throws, yeah.
When it mattered, he didn't. I mean, I don't know why they had Siakam take the last second shot. It was completely off. It was a bad shot, but he had to take it. But they could have waited a little longer, gave it to Kawhi. But I mean, he didn't show up all game.
I say the Bucks had a bad night. If George Hill is coming off the bench and he has the most points on the whole team, I feel like the team had a bad night.
George Hill's
Oh
been
no,
playing
that's
really
a good
well.
night for them.
Well,
Went to double
yeah.
OT.
But Middleton
at the Raptors crib.
No, but they still lost with George Hill's production, you know?
No, yeah.
Well,
I get what you're saying.
What I was gonna say is Giannis went 5 for 16 with 12 points. Brooke Lopez had 16 points, 5 for 10. So Brooke Lopez had a pretty good night. But Eric Bledsoe 3 for 16.
3 for 6. What a bum.
Mirotic 3 for 11. Chris Middleton 3 for 16.
Jeez.
They shot 37% as a team,
Giannis had 8
and they still
turnovers.
barely lost. So I mean, to me, this is just like this was the Raptors' game for a break, and they still sent it to double overtime. When you have Kawhi Leonard still having to play 52 minutes a game in a game that you should have just won easily, that just kind of spells disaster for me if I was a Raptors fan. And thankfully, I'm not. I still stand on my prediction of Bucks in 5. To me, this only helps my case.
Kawhi might have the most minutes played in a playoff series
Ever.
Yeah.
When this
He
series
really
is
might.
over with. Not only that, Siakam 51 minutes too, so he did his thing this game. Like, he wasn't showing up a little bit before. But he had a triple-double, did he? Oh, no, he had a
No, he did
double-double.
not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
double-double.
11 rebounds, 25 points.
He missed 2 free
Good
throws,
night.
though. That's
Yeah,
not a good
yeah,
night.
clutch free.
You can have a good night,
Bro,
but when it
nah,
matters,
come
bro,
on,
all he had to
bro.
do was hit one of those free throws, and they
I
would
mean,
have felt safe.
They won the
He
game.
missed both.
Remember
it
it
when
wouldn't have been an OT.
All right,
if he-
if he had 15 points, it wouldn't even been in that situation. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Yeah,
So he-
But-
no, I think Kawhi could.
Malik, you remember you said Jamal Murray's free throw shooting didn't matter though? I remember that.
I never said that.
Oh,
I said Tyler Hero
Oh, no.
free throw shooting didn't matter.
no, all right,
Because you say he's going to go to the league, and
he's gonna
he
go
got
league.
ice. And
Anyways,
Oh, so wait, so him missing those 2 free throws is a big deal though. That like
That
really
is definitely a
matters.
big
I think, yeah, that's a big deal.
Word. So when Donovan Mitchell's missing all them shots, it's not a big deal. He's young. Word.
That's a big deal, too.
Oh, now it's a big deal.
I said it was not. I said in that podcast, if you go back, I said this is no excuse. He's an NBA player. He should have shown up. But you guys are making it seem like, oh, he's overrated. Blah blah blah. Like, you can't be. Oh, you're young as fuck.
Siakam's young too, though.
All right, but Siakam's not the leader of that team. Donovan Mitchell's a leader. He's the leader of the Jazz playing against the Rockets.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Like,
Fair.
yeah,
That's
like-
fair.
Speaking of young production, though, Norman Powell, he got 30 minutes tonight. He was kind of like, he wasn't starting, but he was getting starter minutes, and that's kind of the change that Nick Nurse wanted to make with this team. Went 7 for 13, had 19 points, plus minus was 0, but he was pretty efficient. And the Raptors were just kind of begging for something else, like some sort of production from the bench. They've been playing Fred VanVleet to no avail. He went
Stop.
1 for 11.
Please stop.
Yeah, to me, I got to just say this. Nick Nurse, you have Jeremy Lin. Look, Jeremy Lin could be atrocious.
He could play still.
Fred VanVleet doesn't belong in the league, period. Like, Jeremy Lin could at least make some threes.
Jeremy
We
Lin
saw
can
him
be a
produce
bucket.
off the bench for, like, the Hawks. We saw it do it for the Knicks for that little time frame, obviously. Like, Jeremy Lin is
Insanity.
garbage, but he's not Fred VanVleet garbage. Like, Fred VanVleet would come to, like, the YMCA and get his ass beat a couple times. Like, he's really
Yeah, he
not a
talking
good
hard,
player.
man.
Nah, Fred
Fred VanVleet, pull up to the
Word,
wire.
let's get
I
this
got
smoke
something
going
for
on.
you. 0 points. Lockdown.
I mean, you could put nobody on him, he'll still drop 0 points. Like, the air is defending this man. I mean, Fred VanVleet is just not a good player, and he really, like, him getting 30 minutes a game is just not a good look. I definitely think Jeremy Lin should be in this game, or at least somebody, like something else. But it's good that the Raptors finally got that sort of production. That's really the boost that they needed. But honestly, Game 4 prediction, guys, who you got? You think the Raptors could take another?
I got Raptors again.
I got-
Raptors should be
yeah.
able to take another one at their home court, even the series out to 2-2. I think Kawhi's going to put his heart out on the line for this game. Them going down 3-1 is a recipe for disaster, so I don't think
Kawhi's been putting his heart out a couple times. He might have a heart attack at some point. Like, he's given a lot out. I mean, really, I think the story for the Raptors right now is, like, they just need some other guys to step up. And last night, they finally got it in double overtime. Siakam had a pretty good game, and Norman Powell had a pretty good game. But, like, Kyle Lowry fouled out pretty early. Danny Green, obviously, his struggles continue. Marc Gasol is just kind of being slow. Like, that's the best way to put it. He's just slow. He doesn't do anything
He's not
productive.
really playing that good.
Yeah,
Like,
and
it's
I thought he
kinda
was gonna
bad
play
'cause
great.
He was great on the Grizzlies.
You know who actually would be a good help?
Who?
Jonas Valanciunas. Like, this
Ooh.
seems like a series, like, he'd be pretty productive, and
Rebounding and
it's
shit,
kind of scary that
offensive.
he's not there.
Yeah.
let's get into this Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka nonsense. Jarny, you're a Lakers fan. Break this down for us.
So basically, if you guys haven't seen it, Magic Johnson was I forgot what happened, but it was during a game, and it's the famous gif of Magic Johnson. He was like, everybody's saying, I'm not going to be here. So basically, Magic Johnson was saying how Rob Pelinka was stabbing him in the back throughout the time. And like LeVar Ball said when he was talking to Skip Bayless, LeVar Ball said that it seems like Magic Johnson is only there to save face. He has no power, he has no say, which everyone was thought, oh, it's just LeVar Ball being a big mouth. Turns out today, Magic Johnson agreed to this. He basically said that, like, he told Jeannie Buss what was going to happen, and she agreed to it all. But then once he was not in the office, once he was trying to make power moves, that they weren't going to let him do it. And basically, he said he quit because he wanted Luke Walton out of the coaching job. And they said that as soon as he said that he wanted to fire him, that Jeannie Buss said yes. But sooner or later, she started to say no, and then she brought in a different person. So it just goes to show that Magic Johnson had no power during that whole time at the Lakers. He was just there to, like, look nice and all that. So I feel like it was a good thing for him, but I just don't like him, like, going on First Take and, like, just letting that all out.
Yeah, Magic Johnson seemed to be a big mouth. That's not really a good look for the Lakers, but it kind of saves his own face because, think about it, if he had no power this whole time, woof, like, thank God, because otherwise he would look like a terrible, like, owner, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because look at what the Lakers done. They made some terrible decisions. So Magic Johnson kind of saves his own ass by going out in public and admitting this, which definitely makes sense to me. This whole situation, though, I really have no comment. Like, this is the Lakers being just a trash franchise at its finest.
Coming from the Knicks fan, that's
Hey,
I don't know.
Kevin Durant saves everything,
Both
man.
organizations are pretty bad. You know what I'm
Coming
saying?
from what Terry Rozier said.
I mean,
Let's
we
get
got
into
that.
that.
I forgot.
We got the most rings in NBA history. So,
I mean,
like,
bro,
no one can top
in the
that.
60s, like,
Nothing you can say about that, bro.
Like, no one even knew, like, what basketball was.
We have one in the
60s.
current day. The Knicks have, like, what, 2 rings?
One
ring. I thought they had. I think they have 2 for real.
They might have to.
I think they have 2. Walt Frazier, the last good Knick player.
Anyways, but no, let's what Terry Rozier said.
He stinks.
Terry Rozier was talking.
I don't think that was
some-
pretty professional with Rozier.
Yeah.
Rozier's my boy, but, like, I don't know how I feel about players going on, like, national TV and pretty much airing out the business. Like, he pretty much was saying he's not coming back to the team if they have Kyrie Irving still and Gordon Hayward because he wants to start. He's a starter quality player, but I feel like that's something you gotta do behind the scenes, not go on TV and say, you're messing up relationships, things in the organization. That was just unprofessional. I like Rozier, but I don't know about that one.
He also said that Kyrie and Gordon Hayward kind of got a special treatment, and I'm assuming what he meant by that was obviously what they did last year in the playoffs worked. Like, they had a bunch of young guys, they were sharing the ball, distributing, playing defense, and that got them to the Eastern Conference Finals 7 games. However, since Gordon Hayward and Kyrie got back, they kind of gave them more of a free way to do whatever they want. Specifically, Kyrie is what he mentioned. And obviously that didn't work out. So I guess Terry Rozier kind of put that on air. And they said, would you be interested in rejoining the Celtics at a similar role? And he said, no, I'd probably leave.
I mean,
So
that's understandable, too, though, because
he's a
starter
point,
quality player.
Yeah.
He can start on a lot of other teams.
It's just a bad look for him, and it's a bad look for the Celtics.
Yeah, teams might not want you after that. Like, this is what this guy's going to do.
And
for
on the flip side, he's telling it how it is. Teams might not want to join the Celtics if that's how they're going to act.
Yeah.
So,
reasonable.
Definitely interesting. Let's get into our NBA awards, though. So, we have all the awards here with all the candidates. All the official candidates came out. We have one surprising award that we'll get into in a little bit. That's 6-man. We're all pretty stupefied by this, but let's get into some of the basic ones. Most Improved Player Award. The candidates are Pascal Siakam, D-Loading, and De'Aaron Fox. Who do you guys got?
D-Lo, no question about it. Clap it up.
Here comes.
All right.
Honestly, I do say that D'Angelo deserves it, but I don't get where De'Aaron Fox comes from. I feel like
what?
I don't know.
Nah, he definitely
Did he?
Bro,
Did he improve that much? Is that?
I mean, it's a weird award as is, but
he
definitely
improved.
deserved it.
We'll say that.
All right, but yeah, I'll go with D'Lo.
I'm gonna say Pascal because this dude was literally in the G League last year, and now he's a borderline
This
all-star.
is an NBA Most Improved He wasn't in the NBA last year. He wasn't playing against NBA players.
He was in the NBA.
Bro,
NBA's
no one's
minor
trying
league
to
system.
get that fuck dude out of here. No one's trying to see him. D'Lo's winning that shit hands
like
down.
Some very biased D'Lo fans.
It's 100% biased. I don't care. D'Lo's winning hands down.
D'Lo is probably going to actually win it, but in my opinion, Pascal deserves it. This man came from bottom of the barrel in the NBA, and now he's like the second best player on a really good team, and you got to clap it up for him. Like he deserves that.
I think De'Aaron Fox should get the award, in all honesty.
Bro, get out of here, bro.
You got the Kings here, a team that was just... No one even, thinks about the Kings, cares about the Kings. They were nowhere near playoff contention last year.
Same with the Nets.
This year, they were about to be in the playoffs, tough Western Conference. If they were in the East, they would have made it to the playoffs, guaranteed.
That's cap.
What do you mean that's cap?
That's cap.
That's
It
not
could be cap.
They were,
What
what are they, ninth seed in the West?
They were a couple games.
They were literally
they had
a
a
couple games
chance.
off.
Yeah, they
De'Aaron
could've
Fox
been.
averaged... He went
They
from
would've made it over the
last
Pistons
year, he
easily.
averaged 11 points per game. This year, he averaged 17. Last year, he averaged what? 4 assists, and he averaged 7 this year.
One
Should
thing
we pull up D'Lo's last year's stats and this year's stats?
Bro, we know D'Lo.
It would probably look
improves.
insane compared to De'Aaron
Come on,
Fox, bro.
This is off his rookie season of sophomore year, dude.
One thing I should say
Blowing
about
out.
this award, though, is a rookie to a sophomore season, they're obviously going to improve drastically.
That's
Like,
true.
every single
Yeah.
rookie improves drastically. So I think this award should really be more for, the bench guys who improve, like those 4th, 5th-year guys.
Yeah, true.
Obviously, every single rookie improves in their sophomore season. So to me, that's just kind of annoying. They probably just threw him in there.
pulled up the-
God,
All
this
right,
guy.
so the Nets were 42-40 this season with the 6th seed. The Kings were 39-43, which means they were essentially 2-3 games off from the Nets, and they're the 9th seed. So if they were in the Eastern Conference, they would have made the playoffs.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that makes
Thank
sense.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Anyways, let's get to the MVP. The candidates, obviously, you should all probably know this, are James Harden, Giannis, and Paul George. Who do you guys got?
that. James Harden.
Harden.
I'm riding
100%
with James Harden.
I'm gonna go with Giannis.
Bro,
I would want Giannis.
I'm also,
bro.
for the pure sake of the award,
Harden-
I think Giannis is going to win. However, I agree with you guys. I think Harden
Yeah, I
should
think
win.
Harden should win, but I think
Yeah.
they're gonna give it to Giannis.
To me, I think the reason they're going to give it to Giannis just because he's on the number 1 seed, the best team in the NBA record-wise. And honestly, Harden had some disappointing moments, like the controversy with his travels and whatnot and his shot attempts. That stuff they definitely take into consideration. The NBA hates having repeat MVPs. They've only done it a few times. To me, Giannis is gonna win it. This is just gonna help out his legacy. The NBA kind of wants that.
It's gonna help the media out too. The media want to see they would
Yeah.
want to see Giannis.
They
more
want to
than-
see Giannis win,
yeah, more
but
than Harden again.
But I definitely think Harden does truthfully deserve it because he kind of willed his team to where they were in the playoffs. They started off really bad, and had he not gone on an insane tear multiple times throughout the season, who really knows where they would have been? They would have been on the 6th, 7th seed maybe. He really willed them to a couple games.
I hope Giannis doesn't win because I would hate to hear his speech. Fucking. Don't get me wrong. That fucking accent just gets me so fucking tight. I don't want to sit there and watch that fucking speech.
We could say Kevin Durant had the best MVP speech of all time, right?
Mama, this one for you.
Real MVP.
I love you, mama. But yeah, fuck Giannis in that accent. That's one thing I would not want to hear.
Let's get into the Rookie of the Year. I think we're all going to agree with this. The candidates are Luka, Trae Young, and D'Antoni. Is that what you put?
DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton.
I would say you spelled it D'Antoni.
I put D.
But-
Ayton. That's how you
That's
spell
not how you
his
spell
name.
it.
That's
No,
not
it's
how
not.
you
spell it.
Yeah,
It's
no.
a
Y, it's a Y, yeah, tweak it. It's a Y.
I was about to say D'Antoni is not a rookie, but yeah. Anyways,
Luka got the award.
I
bro.
got Luka.
Yeah,
winning.
hands down, Luka.
Trae Young had a little exploding after the All-Star break, but it's not enough. He started out really slow. I went to a Hawks versus Nets game. He had 3 points or some shit. Horrible. He turned over the ball. After the All-Star break, he did start to turn up, but it's not enough. Luka's crazy.
I'm gonna give an insanely hot take right now. Luka's gonna win the MVP, and Trae Young is gonna win a 6th Man of the Year award at some points in their careers. Definitely a hot take, but keep note of that.
That is the hottest take of the year.
That's
not that hot.
Trae
Trae
Young
Young not that hot of a take.
will not be a 6-man.
He will.
Luka
He will.
win
He's not.
MVP.
He's
wasn't-
gonna get exposed.
Trae
No, he's
Young
not.
is a
Luka winning
bro.
MVP is not too much of a hot take. It
Trae
depends.
Young.
how-
That's not.
how-
Yeah, that's not a
but
hot take.
Trae
But
Young,
Trae
6
Young-
man.
Trae Young's not gonna.
It's a hot take for a reason. Luka's definitely gonna win MVP.
Bro,
though. That's a regular.
That's not
take.
even a take, bro. Trae Young is going to be a starter. He's going to be the starter for that Hawks team for a long time.
I don't know. We're gonna have to
I
see
could see
about
that,
that.
definitely.
Yeah.
Let's get into the 6th Man of the Year of the award. I really hate this award because the candidates are Lou Will, Montrezl Harrell, and Domantas Sabonis. So
Damn, Dinwiddie.
before we get into Dinwiddie getting snubbed, because we all got a lot to say about that. We were I was shocked when I saw these candidates. Lou Will and Montrezl Harrell are the starters of the Clippers. Like, they literally play, 32 minutes a game. They just come off the bench. So that's kind of stupid because their stats are obviously really good for a bench player, but they don't come off the bench like that. Like, by all logic, they do, but they play starters minutes and they play starter roles. Like, they're playing in crunch time with, 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So to me, it's like Lou Will. How many six man of the years does Lou Will have?
I think
7?
That's cap though. I think what you just said was cap.
Jesus. You're also gonna say Doc Rivers is coach of the year.
It says that Lou Will only averaged 26 and a half minutes for this whole season.
Yeah, because some games he wouldn't play that much, but
if
we saw it in the playoffs.
Lou Will's gonna be.
No, in crunch time, definitely you're gonna have Lou Will.
You don't usually have the 6 man in crunch time. I'm just saying.
He's just that good, to be honest.
So you got Lou Will winning it?
Sheesh. I mean, Lou Will's probably gonna win. It could go to Lou Will or Harrell. They both had good seasons. I don't got Sabonis winning it at all. They should have had Dinwiddie and Sabonis spot.
To me, I really thought Dinwiddie was gonna win it, genuinely, because he averaged 17 points per game off the bench. He was really productive in the Nets season, and they had a pretty good season, obviously. Sabonis started off hot in the beginning of the season, but he kind of cooled down, and in the playoffs he didn't do anything. I know the playoffs aren't included in the award, but it just seemed a little suspect that he would even be in here. I really thought Dinwiddie deserved it. The fact that he's not a candidate is pretty mind-boggling. I'm going to have to say Lou Will's probably going to win it just because he seems to win it every single year, even though it's pretty dumb that he does.
I mean, Dinwiddie was playing a lot of games in crunch time as well for the Nets. I went to see a lot of Nets games this year. He actually averaged more minutes than Lou Will this year, too, so I don't know, man.
That might be why he wasn't considered.
Yeah, he averaged more minutes than Lou Will and about the same as Harrell. Harrell played 29 minutes. He played 28. Lou Will played 26. So I got Lou Will getting it, no doubt.
Let's get into this Defensive Player of the Year award because this one's actually pretty interesting. It's Giannis, Paul George, and Rudy Gobert. I have Giannis winning this, and I think he's going to be, I don't think it's the first, but I know there's very few MVPs and Defensive Player of the Years that they won in the same year. I think Tim Duncan did it, if I'm not mistaken.
Didn't Jordan get it too?
Jordan might have done it.
Jordan got it.
Jordan
was like the only guard.
Yeah,
get that,
that might be true. But yeah, somebody else did. I can't remember who it is on top of my head. But I think Giannis is actually going to win Defensive Player of the Year. So Paul George is playing good defense all year. I just don't really see him winning it. That he just kind of seems like they just threw him in there. He was a really good perimeter defender, but the second half of the season, he just kind of fell off a cliff, in all aspects. And then Rudy Gobert, I'm pretty sure he's in here because he had a lot of blocks this season. But Rudy Gobert also wasn't impressive, defensively this season as well. He's good. He's always a good defender, but I definitely didn't consider him once for Defensive Player of the Year. So I think Giannis has got this pretty much on lock. To me, he definitely is going to win this with ease, more so than the MVP, if anything. So I think it's pretty safe to say Giannis is going to win MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. And if they could really put a championship on that too, that's a really successful year for Giannis.
Yeah, that's a crazy season.
Who do you guys got for Defensive Player of the Year?
Personally, my pick for Defensive Player of the Year would actually, he's not going to win, but I'd give it to PG. He was leading the league in steals. He's playing great perimeter defense. I think he might have had a whole steal more than Giannis. I don't know what
Giannis got those blocks though.
That's true too. Mean? Yeah, I mean,
defensive.
Who cares about Paul George anyway? But I was just, what I'm saying,
I do
choke that series. Damn. You might have to wipe his nose for that. But jump into coach of the
year. Coach of the Year, bro. Oh my god.
Let's jump into my favorite award for this year. We got Coach of the Year. Candidates, we have Doc Rivers of the Los Angeles Clippers, Mike Budenholzer for the Milwaukee Bucks, and Mike Malone for the Denver Nuggets. What do you guys think on this one?
I'm going to go ahead and say Budenholzer because this team last year was the 8th seed. He brought them all the way up to the number 1 seed with the best record in the NBA. To me, they just improved in all aspects. He unlocked Giannis a lot more. He unlocked some of the shooters. The bench on this team is phenomenal. Obviously, the team got better in the offseason, but not by an insane amount. So what he did with this team was really just change them completely. What you saw from the Bucks last year with Jason Kidd was kind of abysmal. It was just a lot of dumb ISO ball. Mike Budenholzer put a realistic, modern NBA system into this team, and you saw it. Unlocked Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton got better. Giannis got a lot better. Eric Bledsoe sucks, but Eric Bledsoe got a kind of a more natural point guard outlook to the game. I got to give all the credit to Mike Budenholzer. I think the other coaches definitely deserve some credit too, specifically Mike Malone because the Nuggets kind of did a similar thing. But Mike Budenholzer, the best record in the league speaks for itself. This is a team that nobody expected to be winning the East or winning a championship, and it looks like that's what's next for them.
I agree. I see Mike Budenholzer winning this.
I'm going to go with Mike too.
Well, I feel like all
Here
three
we
of these
go.
people
Here
are
we
great,
go.
are great candidates
Give it to
But-
for the award because let's take a look at the Nuggets real quick. The Nuggets last year didn't even make the playoffs. They were 9th seed, and they jumped up all the way to a 6th seed. Mike Malone did a great job with that team this year, and the system he implemented for them. So Mike Malone definitely a good candidate. Mike Budenholzer, of course, he's a good candidate as well. Did he not win Coach of the Year when he coached the Hawks that year too, or no?
He actually might have. I
I think
know.
he might have won
I'm
it
not
that year
sure.
too. So that might be a second award, but. Personally, I'm going to have to give the award to Doc Rivers for the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? You got Doc Rivers here. This is already a champion, one. And he had his team, the Clippers, they didn't make the playoffs last year. And they lost all of their players coming into this year. No star players. Blake Griffin, bye-bye. DeAndre, bye-bye. Chris Paul is gone.
Hey, you
And
got
they
better
still
players.
made the playoffs.
You got
With
better
a bunch
players.
of there's no all-star on that team.
He ain't get
They made the playoffs with no all-star
Montrez is definitely better
on
than
that team.
DeAndre Jordan, like, right now.
Yeah,
I would say
he
that,
is,
right?
but
And then Blake Griffin had a good season, but, like, Tobias Harris also did in the first
Blake,
half.
Blake
like,
Griffin had a way better season than Tobias. But
regardless.
Doc Rivers brought his team to the playoffs, a team that
As
had
an
no
eight seed,
had
barely
had
hanging
no-
on by a
barely.
thread.
but by a couple games, like they could have easily been 6th seed within like one game difference. They had no stars, no all stars, no superstars. Lou Will, just a bunch of guys. He coached them while they play good defense. They play hard every single night. You got my boy Shai Gilgeous. He's gonna be really nice.
It's not your boy.
I mess with
No one
Shai.
cares about him.
I mess with him. OD, he's cool.
The best player on the Clippers is Landry. The man's a bucket.
Yeah, I was preaching about Landry when he was on the Sixers. No one was talking about him. Then he got the Clippers. He really started bugging out. Like a team, a bunch of just good players playing hard with a lot of effort. So I think Doc Rivers should get this award because if somebody else is coaching that team, they probably wouldn't even be in the playoffs.
What's the difference between the Clippers and the Nuggets? Like, truthfully.
Like, what do you-
Why does Doc Rivers deserve the award more than Mike Malone?
I mean, Mike Malone has more talent.
Like,
He's-
really, though? Like,
Jokic
Gary
is the best
Harris?
center in the
Nah, he
league.
kind of
Jokic
does
is the
have-
best
he
center
has
in the
more
league.
talent.
All right.
There's
all right.
no one on that
one
team.
good
that can-
argument.
Jokic was like
Jamal Murray is a bucket by your terms.
Yeah.
So like,
Jamal Murray's a bucket, yeah.
so they have good players, like really good players actually.
That's fair. Anyways, let's get done with the NBA. Obviously, we're waiting for the finals. The series are not officially over. The Warriors series is officially over with the Blazers. However, the Bucks are kind of waiting to see if they get that, if they win in 5 or not. If they prolong the series, that would kind of suck. I'm really ready for the finals. I don't know about you guys, but let's get into the NFL. I'm also really excited for the NFL. We're, I believe, 97 days away from the NFL, so I'm really excited
I'm actually
about
excited
that.
for that too.
We're,
Yeah.
like, the NFL is where the betting lives. It's where every Sunday you get to order pizza. It's kind of like a national holiday for like half the year. So let's get into our
Now,
NFL
before we-
over-unders.
Before we get into that, last season, Max would make sure on Sunday he wasn't doing nothing
Nothing at
no
all.
matter what. He said, yo, it's NFL Sunday, I'm in the crib, I'm watching games. He's like, yo, Max, you want to do this, you want to do that? No,
Nope.
it's NFL Sunday.
God forbid one of us couldn't make it with him. He would get so
Even
pissed.
before the game, no, I'm just going to sit in the crib.
Yep.
Get ready
Gotta get
NFL
ready for these
Sunday.
games.
Yeah.
Fun fact, got a little story for you guys. I actually was working at a grocery store 2 years ago, and I'm a big bettor. I bet all the time. And I love betting NFL. It's my favorite sport to bet on. It's actually my worst sport in terms of actually making money, but it's my favorite sport to bet on just because it's so entertaining. And 2 years ago, I was working some Sundays. I think it was week 4. I was losing all my bets in NFL. I had no idea what was going on. I was watching highlights on YouTube. It wasn't doing justice. Said to my boss, you know what? I can't work these Sundays anymore. It's either that or I'm going to quit. And you know what? Eventually I did quit, but he gave me those Sundays off. Believe that. Let's get into these NFL regular season over-unders. We're almost at every single team. We got some 3 boring-ish teams today. We got to get rid of them, and then we're going to talk about the good ones. We got the Ravens, Lions, and Dolphins. Let's start with the Ravens. Over under 8.5 wins. Jarny, I know you're high on the Ravens this year. How come?
Ravens got some nice draft picks, even though none of their draft picks were over 6 foot. But that's fine by me. Ravens are coming back. Lamar Jackson shit the bed that fucking last year, so I see him having a good season this year. They got Marquise Brown, I believe, who's a speedy wide receiver. They just have a good team. They recently got Terrell Suggs, I believe.
They also got Mark Ingram
Yeah,
from
so
the Saints, which is a good pick for them.
so I
Good pickup.
do see them going over 8.5. Just looking at their schedule, I see a few easy dubs. Like
I don't see any
Yeah.
easy dubs. Look
They
at
start-
that.
They got
All right, they got the
They start
Bengals.
with the
They got
Dolphins.
too.
They got the
The Bengals.
Cardinals.
The Bengals.
Steelers. I feel like Steelers is.
They're gonna
gonna
go
be
They're gonna go
1-1.
1-1 with the
Yeah.
Steelers. Yeah.
Bengals a W.
Yeah.
Bengals again a W. Texans maybe.
No,
I don't know.
no.
Texans maybe. But
Bills, though.
Bills,
Sheesh.
Jets, 49ers.
Jets.
I'm just knocking
Bills are
those
trash.
teams all off. So I see Ravens Ravens behind their goon quarterback, the thug.
I don't know
Lamar
what you're seeing
Jackson.
him, man.
He's
I
a
don't see anything in
goon. He takes the photos with Kodak. He's always with the
You could
Kodak.
be a goon all
boys.
you want, bro. Play football. Be
He's a
good at
goon.
football.
He is. Is he not good at football?
He's good. He's good. I
He's
should have
a
worded
fucking
that
wild
different.
card.
He takes the pics with Kodak.
He's always with, dude. He loves. I got him on Snapchat every day. It's just him just rapping some Kodak. I'm like, yeah. So he's a fucking goon. I love it.
Me personally, I got the under. Man.
Under.
You might feel
They'll
that
probably
next
win
week.
8 games. They'll probably win 8 games. I'll give it to them. Like I said, this is one of those like over-unders I'm not too confident in. I'm probably take the under for, a little bit of money if I had to. But, yeah, their schedule looks pretty easy. There's some games in there that I think they'd win, like Jets, Bills, 49ers they could probably win, Bengals twice. But regardless, their division's kind of hard. I think their system got exposed last year when they played the Chiefs. They kind of put on a clinic on how to stop that run and tight end kind of. I don't even know what you'd call that, really. Like the shotgun with the tight ends running everywhere. And it's just like a whole lot of foolery that they were running. And it worked because for 4 weeks, the league didn't know how to stop it. And then they finally figured it out. So I think it's just going to stop there. They're going to be like a run team that depends a lot on their defense. And in the modern NFL, especially now that you could review like pass interference and stuff like that, I just feel like it's not going to work as effectively as they hope it can. Lamar Jackson, I don't know if he could throw the ball well either.
Whoa.
Lamar Jackson cannot throw the ball.
He can't throw the ball.
Wow.
He cannot throw the ball.
He literally couldn't throw it for 15
You guys
yards.
must have not
Judging-
been watching in college.
College,
'Cause he
exactly.
could throw the ball
College.
out.
Judging his first rookie season, he was horrible at throwing the ball.
All right, well, that was
We-
his
we-
rookie season. This
All
is
right,
his
well,
sophomore season.
It was Baker's
He
rookie.
has-
It was Baker's rookie season,
Baker
everyone's
Mayfield's
rookie.
a fucking
Sam Darnold?
dog. Everyone knows that
Yeah,
Baker
he's going
Mayfield's
sick.
like a
bro. And
Dude.
Lamar Jackson's a goon.
All right, but
What's a goon to a goblin?
those are two completely different quarterbacks. I feel like when it comes to throwing, Lamar Jackson will get better this year. He has some great targets to throw to. I just see him improving, and I feel like he's been working on his throwing all summer, all offseason. So it's going to lead to something great.
I'm gonna go with the under.
Last time I saw him, he couldn't throw past 15 yards.
Yeah,
so
I'm going with
this
the
is-
under. I wouldn't count on Lamar Jackson. I just can't. Not yet. It's too early. I don't think he's that good of a QB to be listening to Jarny. No
Well,
offense, Jarny.
If he fucks it up, they're going to put in RG3. So I mean, I don't know.
You're saying is that better? Or what? Why you said that like it was better?
I don't know. RG3 or Trace out of Penn State. So I guess we'll see.
I just think Harbaugh's a clown, really.
Yeah,
like I don't
definitely.
like everyone likes him as a coach, but he had one good year. Flacco kind of carried him, if anything. I don't know. I'm just not really sold on this Ravens team. Ty, what are your thoughts on that? You got the
Under,
over?
bro.
Under?
Under, bro. We're
Yeah,
not
under.
hearing that Kodak nonsense. Send the goon home.
Send
Under.
the goon
He said send
home.
the goon home.
All right, now we got the Lions over under 6.5 wins. I'm actually going to go with the over here. The reason being, I think last year was kind of just a fluke. They had some good wins. I know they beat the Patriots, and they were just looking like a good team sometimes. A lot of this depends on Matthew Stafford, I think, because last year he probably his worst season as far as I know.
But I'll say it depends on Matthew Stafford. It also depends on the offensive line because there were games
yeah.
I watched.
Yeah.
That's true.
They were letting him get fucked up. I don't
true.
know what. I think it was against the Ravens, and he was just getting bodied the whole game. No, it was against the Seahawks. Literally, like you could. I'll say the O line was just basically like a fucking empty door that you can just walk right through, and
yeah.
he was just getting fucking clapped all game. But this year they do have CJ. They got Danny Amendola. Then for defense, they recently got Trey Flowers off the Patriots. I feel like it will be a good team, and I'll take the over.
I'm gonna take the over too. I got faith in this team. They can't compete with like obviously the best teams in the league, but they're a solid team. They've always been a solid team. I've always had respect for them.
They had some really good offseason moves that I like. And also, Matt Patricia, like, he had a kind of a bad first year, which makes sense. Usually every coach has a bad first year. But I think he's going to bring some life to this defense. Like, that Lions defense looked pretty good at times. So I think as really what they got to get right is the offense. And like Jarny said, it's a lot on Matthew Stafford and that O-line. They made some really good moves in the offseason. They got snacks from the Giants last year during the midseason. To me, this team definitely has a lot of potential. I'm going to take the over just because I think they could win seven games. You know, they got a lot of talent at wide receiver now. Mm-hmm. Marvin Jones is a beast. They got Amendola, if I'm not mistaken. They got Amendola, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they got Amendola.
Yeah. Over.
Yep, I'm going to take the over on this one.
Definitely.
Let's get into the Dolphins. This one's going to be interesting because we're not really sure who's like going to be the starting quarterback. It could be Rosen or it could be Fitzpatrick. I'm going to assume it's Rosen. The over-under's 5 wins. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
I'll give it an over because you got to be a shitty-ass team to win fucking less than 6 games. I don't know.
There's a lot of shitty-ass teams in the NFL, I'll give you that. But
recently, they just got Josh Rosen, who everyone's been shitting on him. So I feel like if they're the QB that he says he was in college, then maybe he's going to step up. Maybe he's going to be a bitch. But Fitzpatrick was lighting it up for the Bucs that first...
3 games.
4 to 5 games. So
4 games. Yeah. He was
4,
doing good for 4
4
games.
And the 4th game was like...
Yeah, then he had the game with 5 picks, and we were like, it's back to normal.
But they are back, and they have they recently just got my main man Christian Wilkins out of Clemson, who is a defensive monster. They still got Kiko Alonso. He's pretty good. Their defense can be pretty good this year. I'm giving them the over 5 games.
I'm going to go over 2 just because their division sucks, obviously, besides the Patriots. The Bills, they could easily win 2 games off of, and the Jets, they could easily win 2 games off of. However, will they do that? I don't know. But 5 wins seems pretty short. Josh Rosen, I really don't think he's an NFL quarterback. Like I've said this before, like he's just not good at all to me. But you got to give this team some credit. Last year, they won a couple games that they probably shouldn't have, like
beat the Pats.
The Miami Miracle.
I don't know how.
I don't get how the fuck. Oh my god! I had that on 3 different TVs in my room.
That's probably why they.
And I was just looking at it from every different view, and I was ready to fucking flip a table.
That almost turned out to be bad for the Patriots, but they ended up figuring it out anyway.
Still got a Super Bowl, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. But
I'm gonna go with the over 2.
Yeah, I got over.
Yeah, it's 5 games is come on. That's you gotta give some respect.
We got a weak division. I'm actually looking forward to seeing the Dolphins play. I might actually go to a couple Dolphins games this year down in Miami. You know, I'm from Miami, so it'd be I was actually born in Miami, so it'd be a really good.
You're gonna waste your money on a Dolphins game?
I'm gonna be in Miami anyway. Might as well.
Right.
You were born in Miami?
Yeah, I was actually born in Miami. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to call cap on that.
I'll show you that when we get out the cap.
My fault. Anyways, let's go into our best bets for Game 4 of the Raptors-Bucks game. This is gonna be an interesting game. This could really turn out any way. The Raptors could extend the series. I gotta stand my prediction though. And let's get into our little recap of the record. So right now I'm 6-1. I'm hot as a motherfucker. You should definitely tail me. 6-1, man. That's a lot of money. Malik's sitting at 3-3 right now. Ty sitting at 3-4. Jarny at 1-1. We went 3 for 1 on the Bucks game 2. Me, Ty, and Malik won our bets. Jarny lost barely. But let's get into our bets. Jarny, what do you got?
I got Bucks minus 2.5. I see the Bucks pulling this one out to the next game. I don't see the Raptors doing much, but who knows? I might lose like last week.
What do you got, Ty?
I got Kawhi Leonard double-double. He will not get a double-double this game.
Promise you will.
Kawhi Leonard doesn't pass. I mean, he obviously passes, but he's not like he's. When have you ever seen Kawhi Leonard get more than 6 assists? So that's out. He does get his rebounds here and there. He probably have like 8 rebounds this game, 8, 7-ish. But I feel like he's just too tired. He's been balling out. He's been putting a lot of effort into his points more than so. I feel like even getting rebounds. He might lead up to the big man. I don't see Kawhi. He averages like 8 for the whole season.
He's averaging 8.7 in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and he had 2 games with 9, and 1 game with 8 for this series.
Okay,
so
yeah. And the Bucks are a bigger team as well, you know. So I don't think he'll just be stealing those rebounds like that. I got him maybe getting like 8 rebounds, but not a double-double.
I got the Bucks minus 2. The reason being, I got this line actually yesterday, so I have $100 on it currently. I like this bet a lot. I mean, think about what I said earlier with all the Bucks starters playing atrociously, right? And they still sent it to double overtime. That was a good game from the Raptors and a terrible game from the Bucks, and yet they still sent it to double overtime. I think the Bucks are going to come out with good energy. They've shown that they could win playoff games on the road with the Celtics and the Pistons. To me, the Raptors are going to have a perfect game. They're going to need helpful officiating.
He said the Pistons.
That wasn't an away game.
I know, but still, it doesn't matter. This doesn't matter.
That was 4 straight home games.
That crowd was rocking. The Pistons crowd was into it. You got to give them respect. They had a home crowd.
Tickets are so cheap. That was like $20 to a playoff game.
But regardless, I mean, I think the Bucks minus 2. There's a reason the line flipped like this. To me, just a foolproof bet. take the Bucks. They're going to win in 5. I'm staying true to my prediction. This is going to be the knockout game for the Raptors. Expect Giannis to go hard. Expect Middleton to go hard. Malik, I know you got that Middleton prop. What's that looking like?
Yeah, I got Chris Middleton over 15.5 points.
Reasonable.
I mean, yeah, judging the way he played last game, he has to come out this game and show up. Like Max said, I mean, they went to double OT and they all had a bad night. So, I mean, I feel like tomorrow they're going to show up, do their thing. Chris Middleton's going to drop probably like 22.
Yes.
So I'll take
at least 18.
Yeah, I got
I'd say at least
18.
18.
Yeah.
I'll take that bet.
But yeah, guys, that's our bets. Hopefully we can improve on our record and make you some guys more money. Be sure to follow us on all our social medias, Instagram and Twitter at TU Sports Pod. Be sure to listen to us on wherever you get your podcasts, specifically Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever. It doesn't matter. We're also on Podbean. Shout out Podbean. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back on Thursday, hopefully wrapping up and doing some finals previews. I'm Brock, and I'm out.
We're everywhere and anywhere. I'm Jarny, and I'm out.
I'm Ty, and I'm out.
I'm leaking. I'm out.